Welcome to the Lightspeed Investing Podcast. I've got Charles Alvarez here. He is the founder of Cornerstone Growth Solutions, zooming in from Houston to share with us his journey with trading, and now that he is immersed with our environment, what he plans on doing with it. What's going on, Charles? How are you doing today?
Doing fantastic, Philip. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm super excited to connect with you and share your story to a lot of people listening because you, my friend, are one of our astute students who've achieved amazing success in just few short months. I mean, in 5 weeks, you took 70K to 900K. And as of today, in about 6 weeks, your account is over $1.2 million, which that rate of return, if you don't know the hedge fund space, if you don't know anything about futures and commodities, might seem daunting and too good to be true, right? But you're certainly been able to make it work. And on top of that, your origin point, right? You actually knew who John Arnold was. So you want
That's
to share
right.
with the people how you actually got started and how you knew about that billionaire that took 1.5 million to 1.5 billion, not as a myth, but as a close associate of yours.
Sure. So shortly after my wife and I got married, one of her friends was actually dating him, and I actually got the chance to meet him. And we had some similar associations from our Enron days and stuff, but he's gone on to be extremely successful. And what struck me about him is how humble he is and how astute and how disciplined he was. And when I heard that your system is designed from his system, I was incredibly intrigued. And when I met a friend of mine for lunch, and he told me what he was doing, I had to just learn more.
And what did you learn? What did you learn from your friend that inspired you to, go down this rabbit hole?
Well, so you and I are big basketball fans, right?
Yep.
And imagine Michael Jordan volunteering, for a fee, obviously, to teach you how to play basketball. I mean,
Mm.
that is something that doesn't come across very often. So I was intrigued, and I did my due diligence on your team and watched a couple of scenarios and classes that you guys did, and I was hooked. And I wanted to go down this journey with you and your team and understand what this platform looked like. And it's really the first
Mhm.
time I would say that I had a complete system on really how to create financial independence for something that I'm truly passionate about.
And was this your first time attempting trading, or did you do something else before this?
So I graduated with a civil engineering degree from Texas Tech, and then after that, I went to work for Accenture. Did that for about 6 years, and then after that, I was a financial consultant for small businesses. That's where I kind of got interested in the stock market and asset allocation and all that good stuff and technical
Hmm.
analysis. And over that period of time, I had a lot of people say, "Oh, that's pixie dust. It's fairy dust. It's not real."
Yes.
And I did a couple of trading on my own and got my what handed to me on a silver platter. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to do my asset allocation thing, settle for 8 to 10% per year, and I'm good to go. And did that for a while, but when I started Cornerstone Growth Solutions in 2012, we had a good run. But the thing that frustrated me is a couple things. One thing is I wasn't really in control of my financial future.
Hmm.
We could do a great job for a client and they could not pay us. We could do a great job for a client and then they would fire us and just keep the
Oh,
commission.
wow.
So yeah, I have found that business ownership has become harder the last 4 or 5 years. People
Hmm.
are more demanding, and it's like, wow, we can really do a great job for these people and really not get the financial rewards from it, and then drop us in a matter of minutes. So, I was really looking for something that I'm passionate about, that I could be good at, that I could learn and really create
Mm.
financial independence for my family. And I finally found it with your system.
What is it about having direct access to the markets, right, that makes it so much more appealing? Because I was talking to you backstage, and you said you studied these markets for like 12 to 13 hours over the weekend, but it didn't seem like work to you, right? So what is it about the game itself, right, that has you so fired up?
So, one of the things that I've always heard from very successful people, regardless of what trade you're doing, whether you're an engineer or a business owner, whatever, and even Warren Buffett said this, that, and even Trump said that. This, again, is not an endorsement for a political party, but very successful people like, Mark Cuban and such said, you've got to love what you do, right?
Yep.
And and as I was owning Cornerstone, especially the last 5 years, I got to the point where I just didn't like my business at all.
Oh, wow.
I wanted obviously my clients to be successful, but just with all the setbacks and the challenges and clients not paying and so many factors outside of our control, like tariffs or government shutdowns, I
uh
really was looking for something that did not depend on other people, that if I was going to be successful or unsuccessful, I
yep.
really wanted it to depend upon me. And when I found this, it's you know yes, the results have been fantastic. They have been, but really what I enjoy the most is the fact that I enjoy doing it. I like learning about it. I'm passionate about it, and it's gotten to the point where the money is second nature to the person that I
Yes.
am becoming, as
Mm.
well as the skill sets that I'm learning that could really help my family and other people. And that to me, I just enjoy studying the market. It's a lot of fun.
I love that, man. And it's so important. And it explains a lot of the reasons why you're seeing the success that you have, right? Like, for me, that's why I experienced burnout in medicine. No matter how great the pay that a surgeon can amass, which is plus minus $500,000 in salary, I couldn't get over the fact that, oh, I have to essentially be doing surgeries all day, every day, right? To get this, which basically eliminated my ability to actually live the life that I wanted. And that's why I was so passionate and happy as well when I found this hedge fund space, because it finally was something that bridged my dreams to a reality, right? Which is always to own an NBA team after I graduated from KU. And so
That's
so
awesome.
knowing that you were able to find passion, right, in this line of work, I'm so happy, because it not only explains the success that you're currently having, but the success that you will have in the future. Because no matter what is going to hit you, you're going to just keep at it because you actually enjoy it.
I love
Now
it.
for you, what is it about, like, the skill itself, right? Is it the pattern recognition aspect? Is it the adrenaline rush, the excitement? Can you pinpoint a little bit exactly what is it about the markets, especially with trading this asset class, as opposed to maybe, right, like your stocks and the Bitcoin stuff that gets you?
Right. So what I like about it is that, when I'm trading the S&P 500, the SPY basically, okay.
And
The
that's stock
great thing
options
about
for the audience listening. Yep, that's
correct.
stock options.
Correct. The great thing about the SPY is uh, and I'm going to say this a little tongue in cheek, it doesn't have earnings. I mean, it has earnings, but it doesn't. If Palantir reports earnings below expectations and guides lower, the stock could be down 10 points overnight. Okay. When you put that into the context of an index, the effect of that one stock among 500 stocks in the S&P 500 is pretty minimal, right? So you're not going to get crushed. And one thing that I love about your system is you really teach that it's all about risk management. It's not,
Yeah.
if I told you that I was down 50,000 one day, you would probably come to Houston and kick my butt because that's not your
Yeah.
system, right?
No
So
drawdown, low drawdown.
no drawdown. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
And
Yeah.
I love how the system is like, look, if you're down more than a couple of $100, something's off with your trading system. So it
Yep.
takes the emotion out of it. It's a great hedge for me to say, okay, it's if I am down, it's the market telling me that I'm on the wrong side of the trade. So be
Mm-hmm.
humble enough to say, okay, let me step out, let me reevaluate what's going on, and maybe I missed something in my analysis. And sometimes the market can can go down a little bit or go against the opposite direction and come right back up to what you thought it would. So, but I think the important thing, and I love that y'all teach us, is really risk management. One of the things that intrigued my wife about it, that you all have taught me consistently, is we start the day 100% cash, we end the day 100% cash. And, that is huge because so many things, as you well know, can happen overnight. And that is risk management. It's like you don't want to wake up the next
Yeah.
day and like, oh crap, I'm down 40K and I can't do anything about it besides grit and bear it. And if it's a power trend day, you're done. You're completely done. So I love that you guys preach and teach risk management. I mean, in every single class, I'm sure I'll hear it in the class tonight. You're
Yep.
always talking about risk management. It's always there, and that's great.
And I think also just from what you shared, right? It's the ability to make money when the markets go up, down, or
Yeah, it
sideways,
doesn't matter.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like no, like back in '08 when the markets were to collapse, right? And a lot of people who may had $1 million in these markets, right? The valuations of those shares also collapse. But if you're in this space, you can actually take profit, and as long as the market's dropping and you're selling the market, which you can actually do here in real time, then guess what? You're also in profit, right?
yeah. Actually, my
So
best 2 days was when the market dropped, because
that's right.
one of your teaching is that the market drops 65% faster than it goes up. So
Hmm.
I hope this doesn't get me into trouble, but I actually prefer when the market drops because it's a lot more speed.
Trust me, all hedge fund managers do, especially in October, right? That's why it's known for
Yeah.
the hedge fund shorting month, right? And it has that reputation. Now, how does after learning right trading this asset class, how does the other asset class look compared to your appetite and
There's no comparison. I mean, look, here's the thing. And look, I believe that technical analysis applies to stocks as well. There are great technicians that are great at stock picking and projecting stock prices. But here's the thing that I don't like about individual stocks is if Nvidia gets a bad report, or if Trump all of a sudden puts a tariffs on chips,
yeah,
Nvidia can be down 10% before you know it. What I like about the S&P or trading the Dow is, again, that's a component of it. So it still might go down, but you're not going to get out of the game. And that's actually my biggest concern is I don't want I don't want to be at the point where I can no longer do this because I've blown my account up. And by trading the indexes, I think that is a much safer way to approach the market, using your system, than individual
right.
stocks that is one news report away from getting killed.
Well, that's the I think the basis of the technique itself, right? Is fundamental analysis versus technical analysis. And what we say, right, is very similar to diagnosing X-rays, CT scans, and MRI scans in medicine. If you diagnose these charts here the right way, the main difference is you can actually convert these markets into your own personal ATM machine. And if you
Yeah,
know what you're doing, that ATM machine can evolve to, as you have witnessed, your own bank, right?
yeah,
And so I think that's another sentiment to address is there is no necessity to research the markets. I mean, Warren Buffett loves it, so kudos to him. That's why he's successful. But you shouldn't need to read 8 hours a day, right? Because at the
mm,
end of it all, success is dependent on who's the CEO, what's the company, what's the quarterly earnings, what's the trajectory, and you're making all these speculations in hopes that it will go up for you to make money, right? And when it does go up, it goes up maybe 1 or 2%. But I think from your previous, like your before and after, you were happy maybe with 8 to 10% on an annualized basis. What is the percentage now that has been your standard? That has been something that you are used to every day,
yeah. If I'm not doing 2.5 to 5% a day,
minimum.
I get pretty upset.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I get pretty upset. Yeah. So
And how
yeah.
long are you trading, by the way, when you trade on a daily basis?
Typically 2 hours. That's one of the things I'm actually working through is
Mm,
one day last week I was up pretty quick, pretty fast, like 8 minutes
yeah.
into it, and I'm like, well, I still have an hour and a half worth of trading I should be doing. So I made the mistake of over trading a little bit. I ended up with a good day, and I kind of caught myself. You got to be very self-aware in this game, but that's one of I mean, so much of this is mindset. uh, the learning the system is not difficult. I mean, the system is very clear, and every time I've gone back and analyzed trade that I've done well or poorly, especially the poor ones, I'm like, what was I thinking? I was like, well, what was I thinking? And so much of it comes down to, okay, your belief in the system. Is this something you're passionate about? Do you have the courage to take the trade when you see it? Or are you
Mhm.
going to analyze it to death? I mean, we're all seeing the same chart. It's not like they have one chart for me and one chart for somebody else. We're all looking at the same chart. It's just how do you invest in that chart based upon the system that you have?
That's right. Absolutely right. And trading, similar to entrepreneurship, which are both very difficult journeys for one to embark on, it's a game of character development. And I think the
Yep,
number one thing that really doesn't get reviewed to you is until you do it, you won't know, is what how strong is your emotional control and your emotional
yep,
regulation. Because when you put real money on the line, for some people, a lot of your trained discipline can go out the window, right? So
yep.
how do you maintain composure, Charles? Do you have like a routine that you like to go through?
Well, every morning I do pray, and I basically review the system all over again
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure it's fresh in my head. And one of the things that I like about what you teach is, and it seems like a dichotomy, but it's not, which is on one hand, you have to be confident that you're going to win, and you have to be courageous and take the trade. On the other hand, though, you have to be humble enough to recognize when you're wrong. And it's kind of, I would not say it's a split personality, but I would say is you've got to have an equal dose of humility and an equal dose of confidence. Otherwise, you're not going to win. One of the things you guys say all the time is, look, if you hit your stop loss, take it, take the hit. Rather take a $1,500, $2,000 hit than be
Never
looking at
let
your
a loss
account.
escalate. Never let a
Never
loss
let a loss
escalate.
escalate. And that's the thing that
That's
I
right.
think is so important is we have this desire as human beings to be right. Okay. And
Mm.
the way I look at the market is always right. I see people on stock tweets and all this stuff saying, "Oh, the market should not be where it is." And I think in the back of my mind, stop trading the market that you want and trade the
Yes.
market that you
Market that
have. I mean,
is. Trade the
that
markets that
is
is. Yeah. That's right.
right. And so that's the other great thing about your system is that I'm not concerned, okay, what's the end of year projection for the S&P? I don't care. I used to care, and that really messed me up. Now all I care about is what is the market telling me to do at this moment in time? If the market was open up at 6:47 p.m. Central, what is
Hmm.
the market telling me to do right now? And trade it that way.
So do you, for in terms of your preference, are you just trading the 5 days in a row, the 2 hour block right when the market opens, or do you also reserve some time for maybe some Wednesday afternoons when the further reports come out?
So typically I only like to trade the first an hour and a half to 2 hours of the day. Every once in a while, I will see something in the afternoon that looks intriguing that I'll put a position in. That's the exception to the rule, but typically only trade for an hour to 2 hours in the morning because that's where the most movement is, as you guys have taught many
Mm.
times.
No, absolutely. I also was gonna see if you feel the sharpest that way too. So you're like operating with alignment of
Yeah.
when you're, yep, and that's important, right? Knowing and having that self awareness of when you are able to be a high performer, because the markets do move 24/7, right? Yes, they have the most amount of volatility in the mornings, but some people do quite well if they time the afternoons and they time the federal reports that come with the afternoons as well.
And that's the great thing about trading is you kind of get to pick which hours you want to trade. I mean, there's opportunities in the
Yep.
morning and there's opportunities in the afternoon. So
Yeah.
I just like the discipline of saying, okay, I'm going to trade in the mornings. Like I said, there's been some opportunities in the afternoon I wanted to take advantage of, but for the most part, I like the movement in the mornings. And it's also when I am the
Yeah.
sharpest.
That's great. So, Charles, we were able to talk about your origin story, your why in terms of the reasons that get you going and why you're so passionate. Let's talk about your trajectory that you see for yourself as a challenge, right? Because money is just secondary; it's a byproduct of the right inputs. As a challenge, right? How far do you want to take this skill set, and what do you want to be? What do you want to do with this when compared to your business, Cornerstone Growth Solutions?
So my long-term trajectory is to be doing this full time. I want to take care of our clients at Cornerstone, but I really do think that Cornerstone is on its last leg. I've got some clients and people that I want to make sure that I take care of. So, it's interesting when I'm done trading every day, I'm like, ugh, now I have to do my business. And I want to
Wow.
get to the, yeah. Yeah, when you talk to a client that's paying you, 10 grand a month and you just had a day where you made twice that in an hour and a half, it's more difficult to have that conversation with
Yeah,
that client. But, as a human being, I think it's important to make sure that that they're taken care of because they are depending on us. So, but long term, I'd like to do this full time, and quite frankly, I'd like to help other people achieve their goals with this too. I am a student at heart, but I'm also a teacher at heart. And I love telling people about our successes. And I want to help them achieve their goals too.
that's fantastic, man. That's fantastic. And it's so funny because when we decided to really push this firm forward, we made the decision that I cannot trade anymore, right? I know about trading, but I cannot actively participate in it because the goal was to build internal trading departments where traders can actually trade my capital so I can focus on the firm completely and fully. And I react the way I do because I personally love what we do, right? I always tell my team as an executive, I work part time, full time, and overtime. But at the same time, I don't work at all because I love what we do and I love who I get to do it with. And it's so funny when you talk about it like business no longer gets you going. It's just like the dichotomy is so funny to me. But you, my friend, is the reason why, right? We do this game and why we want to spread this message to more people, right? Especially
Yep.
seeing the kind of results that you're achieving. So I really appreciate you coming on to share your story, to share your journey. If the people want to get to know you a bit better and talk to you one on one, what's the best way for them to have access and get a hold of you?
Great question. The best way is I'm on LinkedIn and I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. Just look me up, Charles Alvarez, Houston, Texas, CEO of Cornerstone. Send me an invitation to connect or a message, and I'll be more than happy to speak with you.
And Charles, your last parting words of wisdom to the audience. Anything about trading, business, entrepreneurship, and life? What would you say after all that you've gone through?
Find something that you love and put your whole heart into it.
I
And
love it.
if that doesn't describe where you are now, I challenge you to give this some serious consideration because it's a lot of fun, guys. It's so much fun. I cannot believe I get to do this every day, and I'm so thankful for it. So very thankful for it.
Well, we're thankful for you, and I appreciate you for coming on, Charles. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to talking to you some more.
Thanks for having me, Philip. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. You have a good night now.
You too.